Welcome back to the Moon Magic Tarot channel. Thank you for joining me today. Gosh, this card is definitely wanting to be present for us. So today, this is your weekly guidance from Spirit. Anyone new to the Moon Magic Tarot channel, I post weekly guidance every single Sunday. We're going to draw 3 cards with runes and charms to guide you in. This is really messages from Spirit that you need to hear, right now. Your Spirit team are wanting to let you know about, and for the next 7 days. And it is a timeless reading. I do have a timeless readings playlist, which is full of readings that you can access at any time if you ever find you're having a wobble, and many of them answer very specific questions. So I'll put the link in the information box and the comments for you guys. Now I'm seeing this card as well, and also this one too. Okay, let's have a look at the 3 cards we have to guide you in. Your first card, or reading number 1, Whirling Goddess. Okay, so this will be reading number 1. Reading number 2, we have Cosmic Heart. And reading number 3, we have From Nothing to Everything. Wow. Okay, now for those of you who like that little bit of extra guidance, we're going to draw a rune and a charm as well. Okay, so reading number 1 with Whirling Goddess, you have the blank rune. And you also have the symbol for peace. Reading number 2, you have the rune of nourishment, of possessions, Cosmic Heart, and you have the fishbone. Reading number 3, you have the rune of openings, Kano, and From Nothing to Everything, and you have the Eiffel Tower. Wow, I am really excited to be doing your readings for you. Super Souls, if you need to press the pause button, I'll leave the video running for just a minute or two, well, not for that long, actually, just a few more moments, but if you need to press the pause button and take longer, please do. And I will see you in the readings. The timestamps are below. Welcome, reading number 1. You have been guided into this reading by the blank rune, the Whirling Goddess, and the peace symbol. This reading already, reading number 1, has a lot of energy. I feel like something is just bursting, flowing, wanting to move. Now clearly we need to draw more cards, and thank you so much for your feedback. To those of you, I had started drawing the cards ahead of the readings, and several of you have actually come back to me and said you much prefer it if the cards are drawn within the reading so that it's a more organic process. So we will go back to that. Thank you for letting me know. It's always really useful to get your feedback, and please remember, superstars, in the comments, if you don't see your comment going live immediately, it is because all comments are now held back for review, which means we have been able to literally sift out and stop the scammers and the things that are just so rife at the moment on all tarot channels. So but yeah, do still comment, and we will get them looked at and, you know, live as soon as we are able to. So thank you for your feedback, and thank you for your comments. Now let's draw some oracle cards for you first. So these are archetype cards. Let us see what we are shown for reading number 1. What does your team want you to know about? I'm seeing a card just in here, right here and right now, and for the next 7 days. What is immediate, uppermost, that your spirit team need to talk to you about? I'm seeing this one. Okay, we'll leave it at these for the oracle cards first. Let's have a look and see what we have. We have the box, Okay, look at the interesting connection in colours here. I said I feel like something wants to burst forth. Tender trust, beloved body. Beautiful card. Grace in full flight. And Angel of Power. Beautiful, beautiful cards. This is really interesting, reading number one, because I feel like the whole energy of your reading is about bursting forth, almost like letting go, trusting, going with the flow, dancing like you've never danced before, singing like you've never sung before, doing it, going for it, stepping out of the box. There's something within you that is wanting to, I feel like it wants to burst forth or be heard or be seen or be something. You know, the blank rune is really interesting because the blank rune is like, it's both an ending and a beginning. It's like a pregnant pause. It's something that's in gestation, that is just ready to erupt, to burst, to be seen, to be shown. It's like something is poised to set you off in full flight. It really does. Full flight feels just perfect as a language. If I was going to, you know, put a title on these readings, which I don't do, they're pick a card readings, but if I was putting a title on these readings, your reading would be Take Flight. Look at this, the Angel of Power. Everything is, I feel like something is really coming together for you. Now, there may have been an unexpected or temporary blip around you, something that boxed you in just temporarily. It may even be that something you've been doing, something you thought would move forwards over the last, perhaps the last week. I mean, these are weekly readings. Whenever you've come to this reading, you can come to them at any time. You can always find the right reading for you at the right moment. But I feel like something maybe took longer to be ready, has taken longer than you think. Maybe you set out to do something, you had a deadline, either something else happened that stopped you on, you know, from being able to proceed. It kind of boxed you in. You've never lost sight of the goal, whatever that is for you. You've never lost sight of the goal. You've never lost sight of the something that you wanted, or that you've been working on consistently, or that you have been flowing and stepping into. You haven't lost touch with that. It's almost like that vision has remained sacred. But something, I think, has not, something unexpected showed up, or something, just life has happened that has stopped you from being able to proceed or feel. For some of you, there's been almost a sense of restriction. I have a sense of, yeah, being closed in, boxed in by circumstances or stuff happening that got in the way, or something taking longer. Something hasn't quite yet happened for you that you have been working at. But I feel like your team are really saying to you, you know, don't lose sight of that core desire. Indeed, you may actually need to think out of the box to find the solution. But yeah, you're stepping up here. You're about to take flight. We're seeing movement forwards. Let's get some more information and more clarification from your team about what they want you to know about right here and right now, and what's now emerging over the next 7 days. So let's draw from some different tarot packs for you, reading number one, and get a bit more clarification as to what it is that you are stepping out of, stepping over, stepping through. You're definitely, there's an indication, a request, it almost a request to, it's time to fly, it's time to release something, it's time to not hold yourself back in any way, shape or form. So we'll draw from a couple of different tarot packs, and then we'll see what else emerges as we proceed you know, I'm just feeling those two alone, maybe this one as well. But let's put those to one side. There's a really strong sense of something coming through with these cards that needs to be seen. Okay, so we have the card of the Magician is your first card. Ah, look at this. Now we have the Devil. We begin to really see something here. This is making some sense to me. We have the Five of Wands, the Hierophant, the Wounded Healer, Chiron, the Wounded Healer. Let's move these cards. We have the Ten of Swords. We have the Three of Cups. And we have the Seven of Pentacles. Let's put that up there for a moment. Okay. Right. This is actually making some sense now. So I said I felt that something was holding you back, or maybe something had taken you longer than you expected, or that there was just something. Actually, I do feel there's quite a clear message here for you reading number one. There is something around you, either a perspective or a fear that something won't work out, or a limiting belief, or there's something you want to do but you're not doing it. Now, I'm not saying there hasn't been circumstances around you. You know, like sometimes some stuff just happens, doesn't it? And it knocks us off balance. But it's interesting because perception is really important then, because sometimes we can then think, oh, well, obviously I wasn't meant to do that. You know, the universe was stopping me from doing that. Therefore, that wasn't right for me. It doesn't mean that it wasn't right for you forever. It wasn't right for you in that moment. I feel like in the creative process, there's something you actually, genuinely, just something you want to do. For some of you, it could be something quite big. For others, it's literally an everyday something. It may be something you haven't yet gone back to. You haven't returned to it. You may even have compensated by using other things, doing something else instead, but it's not really the one thing you wanted to do. It's like going to a reading group or something. If you absolutely loved a reading group about a particular, I don't know, a particular style, and then it had to close down or something happened, and then you find another reading group, but it's not about the style of books that you love, and you're actually, the one you need to go to is the one you really love. It's like there's something to overcome here, to step over, it's time to step out of the cave. It's time to face your fears. Maybe you had a challenging experience around something. You went to something, you had a difficult experience, and so it kind of put you off and you thought, well, I'm not doing that again. Or at least you stood back from it for a while, but deep down you actually love the thing that you were doing. And it's kind of like this reading and your spirit team are really saying, look, don't let that one thing, that one experience hold you back or stop you from going back and doing the thing that you really love doing. You know, we come across, you know, challenges in all kinds of settings. Sometimes, yes, they're very big and we need to make very clear decisions about not continuing with something. But sometimes if we have a negative or a challenging experience, we use it as an excuse not to continue. And actually, it was just one thing. If, you know, there was 100 positive experiences and then the one negative one, and we tend to hold on to and go over and over the negative rather than the positive. It's like, yes, something has been put on hold that you actually love. And it's time to let go of and release any perspectives that make you feel as though you're going to be disempowered within that situation. What is really interesting is here, it's definitely time, you know, maybe some of you actually did need to retreat and withdraw in a helpful, healthy way. You know, sometimes if whatever's happening, maybe there's just, life is full on, and so we haven't got the energy reserves to go out and do everything. So we retreat in a healthy manner. It's not a retreat as in a fearful running away, but just a recognition, you know, I'm not resilient enough to do that at the moment. So we step away from something. But of course, then we can get entrenched and remain in that box rather than going back to the thing that we love. We can remain in the, you know, in the sort of the safe zone. This is definitely about stepping out of the safe zone, out of that box of any sense of confinement, giving yourself full permission to literally almost emerge into the world. Sing, shout, be seen, be noticed, take an ownership of your power. Whatever has either been on hold or hasn't been embraced that you used to, for some of you, it's definitely something you used to do. I'm seeing a looking back here. It's something you used to do, but you became uncertain around it for whatever reason that was. It's time to face those fears. It's not going to happen again. You know, you are stronger, you are wiser. You know, you've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. That's what I want to say. And actually, stepping out of this box is going to bring a reward, a celebration. Yeah, it really is. If any of you are looking for relationship, and we only have the Three of Cups here in terms of indication of love, but this is a celebration of sometimes an engagement, a partnership coming together. We have a gift, you know, a gift is coming. The stepping out of the box, as it were, stepping out of your comfort zone here. You may be somebody who lives out of your comfort zone all the time, but there is something that's not been returned to, that you would really like to do, something you loved, it made your heart sing. And this is a returning, so it may for some of you not be stepping out of the box, but for many of you it's a re-finding your way back to something that has been put on hold for a short while, or even a long while. Who knows how long that would be for you. But it's time to face any fears or procrastination and move beyond this. And we're seeing a celebration, we're seeing a gift of something coming to you. Something being given to you because of assuming your power, because of stepping up, allowing yourself to sing, to shout, to be seen, to be heard. From that, something comes to you, and it's celebratory. So yeah, if you were hurt in relationship, we have this Three of Cups here. This will not apply to all of you because it's a general reading, and this is a card fundamentally of celebration. And it's a point of new beginnings, something new coming to you and growing. But I do think it's really, really interesting if you did get hurt, it's time basically to get, as the saying goes, get back on the horse, you know, get out there again. You know, don't be afraid to take a chance. Don't be afraid to say yes to something. Do you know, it's reminding me of, there was a film, and it did make me laugh a lot. It was very funny. It was a Jim Carrey film, and I'm afraid I can't remember the name. For any of you, oh well, we have another 3. For any of you who know it, do put it in the comments, and as they're reviewed, we will post them. But there is a film with Jim Carrey, and he's told he has to say yes. Maybe it is the Yes Man or something like that. But he has to say yes to absolutely everything. So all these things that he would never normally say yes to, he says yes to. But it changes his life, and I'm not suggesting you should go out and say yes to absolutely everything, but it has a flavor of saying yes, this reading. Okay, so we have 3 of Wands. I feel like all roads lead to Rome. This is, you know, really, really, really nice, these cards here. We have the Queen of Discs, and we have the 5 of Swords. Yeah, something that has previously given you a conflict or a challenge or a procrastination, something you debated about, or sort of thought, shall I, shan't I, will I do that again? In your heart of hearts, you actually loved it, but there was maybe some stuff around it that didn't feel okay. It's like going in with a different attitude of empowerment here. Grace in full flight, taking an ownership of you being you. There's something very powerful here. Tender trust, this card, tender trust, beloved body. It kind of says to you, you know, you're loved. You know, don't be afraid to be seen. Don't be afraid to take a full ownership of something you desire. Your body will tell you. I mean, this card always reminds me of Native American power animals, that, you know, being given an animal that looks out for us, that has your back. It's literally that kind of feeling about it. Grace in full flight. There's a freedom here. The Devil, a liberation, letting go of something that has previously, Let me see if we can bring these cards down a bit. I think you'll still be able to see them, so we can see them all. Bear with me 1 second while I move them down. Rather than just pause the video, I'll just move them down so we can see them all. I think we can still see them, yes. Just gives us a bit more space, doesn't it? You see, there's something that actually I think you really, it's like this Queen of Discs in the middle here. It's taken ownership of something here. Own it, hold it, have it. Have something that you want. Allow yourself to recognize that this was something that you loved, you wanted, you enjoyed, whatever it was that put you off. Step over and beyond it, or whatever it was, if it was life circumstances that just boxed you in and stopped you. Everything in your reading is saying, go for it. And we see a reward of some sort coming in here. Something you've wanted being given to you. A celebration. I think, reading number 1, that we should draw a few more cards. The message is very, very clear from your spirit team. Right here and right now, it's time to burst forth. Be seen, dance, shout, sing, join the group you've wanted to do, whatever it is. And for many, it's a returning to something you already have done and loved. It's taking you somewhere. It's guiding you to something. There's going to be a gift that comes from this. And there's a real sense here of, you know, step over any fears, liberate yourself from anything that has stopped you from having this, returning to it, embracing it, having a go. It's time to put all those things down, any fears and concerns. All of this is coming to an end. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, taken ownership of this. Let's draw some more cards, reading number 1, to see what it is that we're being shown. A little sneaky peek into the future. What is it that's going to be given to you? What's coming to you because you take this step? You know, the message is very clear from your team. This is right here, right now, and over the next 7 days. So I'm guessing, you know, an opportunity to step up or into something or go to something in the coming week. If an invitation arrives, you know, step through the door. But what is the outcome here? Let's have a little look at this. I think what we'll do is draw from another tarot pack. What is the outcome of this liberation for reading number 1? May we please see what the outcome is for the liberation of something, the freedom, the release, the embracing. I think we'll just stay with these cards. We have 6 of Trees, receiving. Page of Angels, mysticism. And we have a butterfly, really central butterfly here. 10 of Angels, surrender. Okay. Right. What this is reinforcing, the liberation, and I feel like it's going to be quite life-changing. You know how I think we sort of logically, reading number 1, we logically know, don't we? I think most of us get that concept that in every single minute of our lives we are creators, we're creating. You know, when you look at the clock and you think, right, I've just got enough time to pick up some shopping on the way home, you make a decision. You go into that store, you walk into a particular aisle, you bump into somebody. If you'd made a different decision, you wouldn't have gone down that aisle, or you wouldn't have met that person. You know, all the time we're making choices and decisions, and all the while they are actually opening doors. They're changing directions. We're turning right or we're turning left. There's something around the surrendering of yourself here in trust. It's happening through the doing of something. Okay. I think I can think of a good example to explain what I mean. in this. So if you're new to me and my channel, I worked as an accredited counsellor, a psychotherapist for over 28 years. And the work I have done has been very, very varied, obviously, for over such a long period of time. You know, we do, in that kind of profession, we do lots of ongoing training all the time. And so I trained in many, many different areas and many, many different fields and specialisms. And there's a very big difference between long-term kind of counselling work and what we call time-limited work, which is done where you fix a number of sessions. That's what you've got. That's what you can tend to get if you go through, in the UK, if you go through the NHS, through your local doctor, you'll be allocated, if you're lucky enough to get through a very long list, you'll be allocated a fixed number of sessions. Now, in that kind of work, you can't spend, you know, if you've only got, let's say, a few sessions, a fixed number of sessions, you're not going to have time to do the really deep dive and look at every intimate little detail of someone's history. But what we recognized in that kind of work, and I was part actually of a team that was, you know, when this time limited model of working was first started, I was part of a team that actually did some research projects around it and whether it could be effective. Because prior to that, most therapy was longer term or at least open-ended. It wasn't fixed in these sessions. And what we realized really quickly was that you can, by focusing on a problem in somebody's current life, you can actually repair and fix, and here we have the wounded healer here, you can repair and fix a problem from a previous experience. So if there's a primary, let's say somebody was bullied at school and then they suddenly find they're being bullied at work, in a time-limited piece of work, we only have time to look at the bullying at work. If you're in an open-ended bit of work, you'd probably go way back and look at the bullying at school and you'd look at all the correlations and the patterns. You can't do that in a short-term piece of work. But what we found was that if you can repair the bit in the present, it fixes the problems from the past. Okay? And there's something in this reading here that is saying your team, and this is part of the gift that's coming, and the liberation, the healing, the putting an end to something once and for all. There's something in the present time about stepping out of this box, not limiting yourself anymore, saying, do you know what, I'm going to take grace in, I'm going to take, full flight with grace. I'm going to assume my position of power. I have every right to be here. You know, my spirit team, my power animal will be with me, will guide me, will guard me. I'm protected. I'm going to dance. I'm going to sing. I'm going to shout. I'm going to be seen. I don't have to be afraid anymore. I am surrendering myself to this doorway that the universe wishes me to step through. And somehow in the present moment, in dealing with that, you're processing and laying to rest more than one event in your history. That's what I'm being shown here. So it's like if there have been fears or anxieties around something, and almost like you're thinking, God, here I am again. Do you know, the stepping out this time is like that time-limited piece of work. Your angels, your guides, your team are completely with you. The rewards are going to be, I can't think of the word, a multitude of rewards, multiple rewards. That the layers, the layers of reward are going back. The history is being sorted. It's exactly that analogy of that time-limited piece of work. You allow yourself for the first time in a long, long time fully to receive, because I don't think you've been able to receive properly. You've allowed yourself to receive a bit, but possibly never fully, and there will be a history of reasons why. And now this is opening a door, releasing something, letting go of something, letting go of some form of inhibition, or just life stopped you and somehow you've gone back into a box where you felt you couldn't quite embrace something. That is going to change, but it's dealing with more than one layer at a time within you through the doing of it. And that is the primary gift that's coming to you from this. So super souls of reading number 1, embrace your power, let yourself fly, surrender. Surrender to the flow of the universe, who wishes you to soar, to have, to receive, and to be liberated from something that has previously both recently been holding you back, but probably has held you back in a similar way at other times in your life. Super Souls, this feels like a really beautiful, I need to say, I feel this, there's so much warmth in this reading. I feel like your team are like just like this picture here, this image. I feel like honestly they're just like giving you the biggest hug. Just they're looking out for you. They're like, come on, we're looking ahead, this is where we're going, we're cool, we're okay, hold on tight, I'm there. That's what it feels like. I just feel there's so much warmth, so much celebration of you in this reading. It's really beautiful. And yeah, I too am sending you the biggest hug in the world. So reading number one, I think we've probably, this feels like a suitable moment of completion for your reading for today. If you've enjoyed this reading and you'd like to get notification of any of my readings, if you subscribe, make sure you press the little bell icon as well. They should then come into your stream. Sometimes the algorithms don't work, in which case just look up the Moon Magic Tarot channel. I know in the comments some of you have said you're not receiving readings. Just if you log into YouTube, if you search Moon Magic Tarot, we should come up, and if you go onto the homepage, you'll be able to click on the videos, click on the playlist, the Timeless Readings playlist. I post these every single Sunday, and among many other things as well, and lots of other readings in the week, and moon forecasts, and the moon webinar, how to use a moon diary for manifesting, all kinds of stuff. I will put all the relevant links that may be of help to you in the information box below and the comments, so just scroll down to find any links. That includes the prize draw. I give away a free private reading, and now a diary and a journal up until Christmas, and some oracle cards. Just scroll down, and you know, if you're subscribing, you can add yourself to the email list. You know, just scroll down basically, and you'll find all the links that are relevant potentially. And if there's anything that might be helpful or you want to connect with, you know, it will all be there for you. Reading number one, I'm thrilled for you. I can see it's a big step, but honestly, it's the layers that you're fixing. It feels amazing, actually. It really does. And you know, way to go. Tons and tons of love, Super Souls. Thank you so much. Oh, and thank you to all of you who've been giving back through the super thanks in the comments, and also those of you who are following me on Patreon. And I'm, you know, thank you for the feedback on the tutorials. My Patreon people, I do a free tutorial every single month as well on learning how to read the tarot cards and the runes. Tons of love, Super Souls. Welcome, reading number two. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, you've been guided in by the card of the Cosmic Heart, the rune of possessions, nourishment, and the fishbone. This is a really interesting energy here. This is a rune of ambition satisfied, of unexpected rewards and gains. So Super Souls, let me place this up here and we'll draw your cards. And I wanted to say thank you as well to your feedback. You know, for a couple of readings, I'd started drawing the cards ahead of the readings, and several of you, well, quite a few people have said you prefer the cards being drawn in the reading in an organic way. So that's what we're going to go back to. I do listen to what you have to say. Let's draw some oracle cards for you first. And thank you guys for commenting. I mean, it's just lovely to hear from you. There's your two cards. We'll draw an angel card as well. I feel this is the one for you. Okay, let's have a look and see what we have here. The thread. This is very interesting. Okay, look at the colours here. This happened in reading one as well. Just the colours were remarkable in terms of the archetype card and the Rumi card that we're using. It's like, yeah, we're seeing this upward motion here. The thread, you're pushing through, you're breaking through. Breakthrough is really the word that's coming through. Let's have a look and see what your... She rides with wild spirit unbroken, safe to fall. Very interesting. Let's put these cards here. and Angel of Health. Okay, we have the card of the thread. You're pushing through something, and there's going to be a result as well. That's what your spirit team are saying to you. You're going to, there's something, it may well be a health issue, or someone around you may have a health issue. But you're going to come through this. There may be something, I feel like there's something that's concerning you. Something that's been brought to light. You know, you've seen the bare bones of it. You've confronted something, or had to see something with a clarity. Maybe something happened, you know, something was shown to you, or there's I almost feel like almost like a diagnosis, or something that was brought to light. And it did kind of knock you off balance, you know. Either knocked you off balance, or just temporarily it felt like you were kind of in the dark. You either were in the dark and worrying about something, and if you are feeling like you're in the dark, or you're sitting in a place where there's an unknown quantity and you don't yet know what the result of that is going to be, or you're waiting for information, your spirit team are actually saying to you, look, that information is coming, the breakthrough, the clarity is going to come. You'll be able to see what you need to see, you know. But for some of you, I think you've already received the news, the something's happened. You may not, I don't think you've got all the information yet. I think that's coming, but you've certainly received enough information for you to see with clarity something that had to happen. What I am seeing though is it's almost this waiting period, or the navigating of it is leaving you feeling a bit either a bit wobbly, maybe. Yes, it's knocked you off balance for a moment, but you're going to come through this. That's what I'm seeing. You know, there is a rising here. We're seeing real clarity, hope above. She rides with wild spirit unbroken. You're going to get back up from this situation. So reading number 2, let's draw some tarot cards and get some more information for you. So yeah, I am seeing you're going to come through this. You're absolutely going to come through this. Whatever has knocked you off balance, there is a rising here. Definitely a rising. I think for some of you, there is also a part and parcel of this is a letting go of something as well. Let's see what else we are showing for reading number 2. What do your team want you to know right here, right now, and in the coming week, the coming 7 days? Okay, I'll draw from a couple of different tarot packs. Okay, I'll pop those to one side and we'll look at these first. Okay, so we have the card of Justice. Then we have the 10 of Cups. Okay, we have the Devil. It's very interesting because the card of Justice, so I feel like the timing of something is something, either something's coming to a head, it's coming to a point, whatever's taking place, it affects your long-term happiness, your well-being, your long-term happiness and well-being. Yeah, this is confirming for me, 6 of Cups, that you are leaving something behind. The Devil, it's a card of liberation, cutting cords, making a choice, bringing things back into balance, weighing stuff up. Yeah, 2 of Swords. I feel like, and then we have the Emperor, super card, super nice card for you guys. Let's put it up here. Right. Okay, reading number 2. So, Unexpected rewards, gains, surprises, ambitions satisfied, possessions, nourishment. What I feel is it's not even just getting to the bare bones of something, actually. I want to say I feel that some of you have had a situation that literally, I want to say it stripped you back. You know, cut you to the core, maybe even for some of you. And you're about to rise again. You're coming back through. For some, I'm sort of feeling that I'm seeing this on more than one layer. Okay. So let's look at those kind of different avenues. I'll voice them both. And again, we've got two different figures here. You know, tied here to the devil, and yet they can let go. They can cut those cords at any time. So that the general aspect of the reading is that some aspect of your long-term contentment, the future that you thought you were going to have, got interrupted. Something that you thought was going to work out didn't work out. For some of you, it really did peel back the layers. Literally, it took you back to the bare bones of what really matters. In a way, that's part of the gift of it. It knocked you off balance. It really did. It affected your health. The time is coming for you to rise again, to re-emerge, to find love, to re-find love, to re-find faith, to re-find health in every possible way. And there is a leaving behind of someone or something. If you're exiting any aspect of difficulty, toxicity within a relationship, or even some form of loss, it's time to be moving through and beyond that. There's a weighing up, there's a moment in time when we know that we need to kind of step forth. We don't forget, but we need to step forth. Now for others, there's something going on around you and it's very present. For some, it's a historical, not necessarily a long time ago. It could be very recent. It could be in the last few years. I don't feel we're going back to sort of childhood stuff here, that kind of historical stuff. We're talking about relatively recent stuff in the scheme of things. Something that made you feel that you were underground, literally. It literally did strip you back to the bare bones. For others, there's something going on around you that's causing you to worry and feel concerned, and it's kind of shrouding you at the moment. Either way, I'm seeing something happening this week. Unexpected surprises, rewards, gains. Something happening that actually allows you to take charge of this situation, whatever it is for you in the unique circumstances of your world. Something's going to come along, and this is the here and now message that your spirit team want you to know about. Something is coming along that is going to give you back the balance. It's going to allow you to address the conflict that is sitting within you. There's something that you've done battle with. Something's going to come along and it will rocket you into a place where you take charge of things. So it'll be something that steps you back into the world if you haven't been in or of the world for a little while. It will be something that calls you into a position of leadership where you step out of the gloomy bits and you rise up because you need to. Or you get news of some aspect, if it's an aspect of health, yours or someone around you, there'll be a call to action. You'll know what you actually need to do to overcome this and move beyond it. So whatever the personal circumstances of your individual world, there is a shift occurring, you know, imminently. This is a reading that's very here and now and the next 7 days. So something's coming along to cause you to step up, to rebalance, to evaluate. You may need to make a decision here as well. But either way, the decision gives you the opportunity to take charge and to step up and to start to sort this out, kind of once and for all, really. Because it did feel like a big call out, you know, like you know, when the universe sends you a curveball and you just think, where the hell did that come from? You know, there's an element of that around you. For some of you, it really was unexpected. For others, it was something that's been building and it's come to a head. For others, it's something that happened, and the processing of that kind of puts you underground. The timing of that is now coming to a head, where something to do with your long-term contentment and happiness, something has to be genuinely let go of in order to shift and move forwards. And there's a sense of that both being able to look back and look forwards at the same time here, making those choices. So something comes along this week for you guys, whatever the uniqueness of your circumstances. And this is what your team are really giving you in the message, the here and now message for this week, is something is going to come along and it will actually provide you with an opportunity to make a choice of health, to finish a conflict once and for all, to sort of lay it to rest, to move above and beyond it, to seize something and say, do you know what, I'm not sitting with this anymore, I'm moving beyond it. Whether it is somebody offering you something, or an opportunity, or a resolution, or a treatment, or whatever it is, or an opening that says, you know, I have to do this, I have to step up, which means you rise above and over the stuff that you have previously been sort of sitting in. You're rising. Okay, let's have a look at these cards. And what do we have? We have 2 of Swords here, we have 3 of Swords. Oh, look at these perfect cards. 3 of Swords, you know, the 2 is that point of, you know, this is a conflict, we're going to have to sort it out. So we reach that point where we have to deal with it, and the opportunity to become your own hero or heroine arises, and you step up. The 3 is bringing everything back into balance. So it's interesting. Again, something has stopped you. Hand is up, you know, trying to be the hand. Something stopped you in your tracks, but now it's time to bring things back into balance. And it's very interesting because we have the universe and the death card. I mean, you couldn't have greater cards of transformation, really. Let's move these cards down a moment so that we've got room to place everything, hopefully mainly more or less in view for you. Is that going to work? Yeah, I think so. Cool. Yeah. It's coming to an end, this situation of conflict, or you're certainly moving beyond it. You get to lay something to rest, literally. Yeah. Laying something to rest is really what feels very right this week for some of you. You lay something to rest and it creates a space of transformation and new beginnings. You know, even if it's that new beginning, that new opportunity to see that there is a different way of doing things, a different way of seeing things. Something is laid to rest that has been keeping you in the shadows in some way, shape or form. Yeah, that information that you needed that allows you to step up, take charge. Yeah, there is definitely a saying goodbye to something, whether it's a phase of life, a someone, a situation, the curveball that knocked you off balance, or saying goodbye to something that that's been remaining in your life, or a state of mind even, or an aspect of health you've held on to something and it's time to let it go. There's definitely literally, you sort of say goodbye to something. You literally say goodbye to something this week, but it's part of you rising back into life, refinding that rainbow. I mean, look at the rainbow colours coming here again, bringing things back into balance with clarity, firmness, kindness. I feel, reading number 2, that we should draw some more cards. Should ask for a little bit more information about kind of a sneaky peek as to how are things going to be, you know, because this is a process. There's a transformation taking place here. It's like, yeah, you're rising. Let's ask, may we have a sneaky peek into, You know, what can reading number 2 be expecting? What's this change about? Can we have just a little bit more information? A lot of cards coming out for you guys. Let's see what we have. Tons of cards. Okay, so we have, first of all, 7 of Angels, progress. Okay, so things are absolutely, whatever has been either holding you back, feeling challenging, whatever threw you a curveball, it's going to be moving forwards. We have the card of progress. 10 of trees, loyalty. 2 of hearts, union. We have the card of the beginning, initiation. And the path, look at the pathway here, exploration. We then have the cards of codependency, 8 of hearts and 10 of stars, hoarding. Okay. This is really interesting, reading number 2. I actually also want to say, and you know, it's, you know, as a reader, we must always say what we see. If any of you have been tangled in any kind of aspect of what I would call self-management through any aspect of something that's become a dependency, you know, whether, you know how, like, you know, if things aren't going well, we can kind of reach for the chocolate or reach for the bottle or reach for the cigarettes or whatever it is. I feel like there's something that there's an opportunity to make a choice and let go, not to hold on to it, to have the codependency and hoarding. There's a sort of an aspect of choice here. And I think the situation that is around you or coming to a head for some of you is not just to do with whatever threw you a curveball, it's the behavior that then resulted from it. You know, where we get involved in things that are not always as healthy as we would want them to be. This will not, what I'm saying now will not apply to all of you, but there is a layer being shown here that is to do with releasing some pattern of behavior that came from an actual circumstances, from hurt, from loss, you know, from heartache, to a point, you know, where to break through means letting go of. There's a letting go. It means acknowledging and validating that there's a problem, and through the validation of it, the very acknowledgement of it, we can then let go of it and move forwards. We don't have to hold on to it anymore. It served a purpose. I think for some of you there's been some connection or some aspect of something that served a purpose and helped you to get through something. But now it's time, and it may even be a connection to a person or a group of people, whatever it is. This bit of the reading is quite specific and not to all of you, for all of you. But there will be an opportunity this week to rise above that and to make that choice. That's what we're being shown here. It's like returning to a space of, you know, that real heart-to-heart moment where you can tell someone about a problem, and the problem shared is a problem aired, and you move forwards. You find a pathway through this. There's progress here. There's opportunity for progress. You validate the issue, even if the heart-to-heart conversation is with yourself. It's like, do you know what? There's a truth here, and I have to admit to it, and I've got to move beyond it. It's that kind of a space here. And it's beautiful. You know, whatever has been difficult below the surface, trundling away inside you, that's not quite the right words, I don't think, but you know, bubbling away inside, simmering inside. It's now time to kind of release it, acknowledge how you have been feeling. If there's a yearning, something you've limited, you've been stopping yourself, you know, closing down your own horizons through lack of belief, it's time to look at that, own it, and say, do you know what? I'm not going to let that hold me back anymore. You know, I'm not going to allow that to limit my horizons anymore. It's a very powerful week of transformation. I mean, this of course is a timeless reading, but I happen to be doing it, if you're following the readings weekly, as some of you do, I know, the timing of this is really interesting because we're about to enter eclipse season. And during eclipse seasons, we get these portals, these windows of opportunity. And it's really interesting. It's almost like in eclipse season, it's like somehow stuff from the past, we get to review the stuff from the past, work out what to do now so that we can change what we wish to create in the future. It's this kind of window of opportunity where we face something, or we acknowledge the past in a way that allows us to create a different future. It's very much there in that portal, that eclipse portal of timing, really effectively. So real breakthrough potential here, letting go, not holding on to something that has kind of tangled you up, I think, really. And ultimately, your team are saying, look, your loyalty lies with you. Your loyalty lies with yourself, being your own hero, your own heroine. The pathway is going to be opened for you to a new beginning, heart to heart. So pretty beautiful, beautiful. I'm really sorry that this, whatever this bit is for all of you, and it will be different for each of you. For some of you, it's something that's going on right here and right now. For others, it's something that already happened, that threw you underground, pushed you underground, made you feel very, very low and in the dark. Something this week changes, emerges, opens up opportunity to let go and release, to be that, I think the Six of Cups, especially this card, particularly in this particular pack, there's always a sense of nostalgia through looking back at something. Again, that portal of energy that aligns with the eclipse season. But being able to look back, and through the validation and the looking back, and in a way the sadness of something that didn't maybe work out, actually that creates the opening into the future, and the new pathway emerges. And we are being shown, there's no question of it, that new pathway, that opportunity, you know, being your own hero or heroine. Yeah, your loyalty in this instance is ultimately to yourself and your own long-term future. The commitment you're being asked to make here by your team. So whatever threw you, yeah, it's changing. This is a week of a potential opening, that transformational time. Wow, reading number 2. I feel like some of you guys have seriously been through the mill, and I just, you know, really want to validate that. Actually, you know, there's been some heart-wrenching stuff going on. I can really see that, and I just want to really honour that, how challenging that is, because I'm really seeing that here. It literally stripped you back to the bones. Yeah, it's been a real hard thing, but this is ambition satisfied, unexpected rewards and gains, nourishment. So this is things changing and opportunities being given to you through validation, very much as well here, that allow you to make a choice and step up and become your own hero or heroine. Pathways opening to a new and very different future. I mean, to have the cards of the beginning, you know, along with the death card and the universe, I mean, just wow, it's huge. These are huge cards in terms of new opportunities, you know, something that's caused you grief, heartache, conflict, coming to an end, being laid to rest, and new pathways opening. It's actually amazingly beautiful, but I really have that sense of where you've come from and what this has been about, and I really, really just want to honour that and validate that. Beautiful, beautiful reading number 2, Super Souls. Thank you for joining me. Big respect, and sending you, really validating where you've come from, because this has not been easy, and I really know that. If you'd like to get notification of any of my readings, do subscribe and press the little bell icon. And do give me the thumbs up if you've enjoyed the reading or it's resonated with you. If you're posting your comments and they don't come up, I may already have said this, and my apologies if I'm repeating it, but if you don't see your comment showing straight away, it's because all our comments are now held back for review, but it's stopping people from the scammers from, you know, posting on through the comments, which is really big on tarot channels at the moment. So, you know, we will get to your comments and authorize them. So do please, you know, don't let that stop you from commenting. Sending you all the love in the world. Some people have been saying they can't, that things aren't coming into their stream, and I'm not in charge of the YouTube algorithms. I have no idea how they work. So my suggestion would be, if you ever can't find the readings or they're not coming through regularly, if you just, when you go onto YouTube, if you search Moon Magic Tarot, the channel will come up. You'll see my little photograph. You'll be able to click onto that, and then you'll be able to find all the videos, and of course the Timeless Readings playlist, which is where this reading will be, and all the other readings that answer very specific questions. Super Souls, if you I'll put all the links to absolutely anything and everything that might be helpful, including my free monthly prize draw. I give away a free private reading, a diary, a journal, a pack of oracle cards, all sorts of things every month, or certainly building up to Christmas, we're giving away a diary and a journal as well. So watch out for those announcements. Add yourself to the email list if you want to be in that draw. I will just put all the links in the information box and the comments, so just scroll down and you should be able to find exactly what you want. Super Souls, I am just sending you all the love in the world and the biggest hug, because this has not been easy for you. I really see it. But what an amazing week of opportunity. I mean, this is a real shift. This is a real big shift into a pathway that takes you towards longer term contentment, happiness, a very different pathway into the future. So pretty super and fab. Beautiful souls, tons of love, and thank you for being here and being part of this amazing community. Welcome, reading number 3 to your reading. You have been guided in by the card From Nothing to Everything, the Eiffel Tower, and the Rune of Openings. This is feeling, I sort of want to say, spectacular, reading number 3. Obviously we need to draw more cards, and just thank you. I've said this in the other readings, but thank you guys for your feedback. Many of you have said you prefer to have the cards drawn in the readings in an organic way. I'd started drawing them ahead of time, and actually, so we're going back to drawing the cards organically as requested by you. You know, I do read your comments, so thank you. And of course, as you will already know, if you comment and your comment doesn't show up straight away, don't let it stop you from commenting. All the comments are held for review. It's stopping scammers, and it's working brilliantly. So it means, you know, you as a community are protected. All comments are reviewed before they go live. So let's draw oracle cards. There's something really emerging. Bigger, better is what's coming. From nothing to everything. Bigger, better than you could even have dreamed of is the flavour of this reading so far, reading number 3. Okay, I'm going to take those 2 and an angel card. Let us draw an angel card and see what we are shown. I think it is that one there for you. Let's look at these oracle cards first. You have the Tear. Okay. You have She Rides with Wild Spirit Unbroken. I think this came out in one of the other readings, but let's just place this here anyway. We have Surrender, Sensitive Sister. Oh wow, be moved by the moon. Okay. Angel of Remembrance. Okay. The Tear. Reading number 3. You've been grieving for something. Maybe even lots of things, like peeling back the layers, letting go, transforming. It's really interesting in this card. I just want to show this, you know, in the I mean, it's quite an abstract piece of work, but this looks just like a crow in the corner here. Just that image there. Crows kind of see between the worlds. They travel between the worlds, between, you know, one portal to another, one world to another, across to the other side. I feel like you are actually, do you know, okay, I feel you guys have been actually almost traveling to and fro, so between different dimensions is what I'm going to say. Now I'll get clearer on that for you. Angel of Remembrance and the tear. But I literally do feel that. Look at the colours that we have here. We have one eye up here in the dark with the tear down here. We have the darkness. We have, you know, the passion from nothing to everything. And both of these figures here, holding their arm above their forehead. You know, I feel like you have been dealing with potentially layers of grief or grieving, or remembering things that happened. You know how sometimes the universe opens up, and we are now, although this is a timeless reading, we are now in eclipse season, or we're heading for eclipse season. It's about to begin. And when we're in eclipse season, we often have these sort of portals of time that open up and things surface. I feel like you've been peeling back the layers. I don't think this is immediately happening. This has been going on for a little while. You've been peeling back the layers. Literally, it's almost like those pieces of the jigsaw puzzle. You can see that a domino fell over all those years ago, and all those other dominoes then fell over into place from that point in time. There's a huge, you've been doing a vast amount of looking back, but in a very special way, because I think you've been looking back in a way that you've also been working really, really hard. Oh my goodness me, I have to just voice something here. Whenever something happens, I always take it into account in the reading. So what we have right here and right now, right in front of me, I so wish I had a wildlife camera in my garden. So we have a woodpecker who has just arrived on one of the oldest apple tree in my garden, which is right in front of me. But you know what this woodpecker is? If you can imagine, if this was a branch, if this is the branch of the tree here, the woodpecker is sitting on the underneath of the tree, pecking away, you know, persevering. But usually, I mean, I often see the woodpeckers here. They come in, we have a family of them here. But this woodpecker is underneath the branch, and now it's just moved to another branch and underneath. So it's not sitting on the top or the side, it's literally, you know, on the underneath of it here. You know, you have been literally persevering through layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of stuff that is peeling back, and many layers that have involved some shedding of tears, stuff that didn't work out, remembering, even looking back at family history. Some of you have been doing this. And simultaneously, you've been trying to both rise above it and yet observe it and process it. You may well have found at the time of the full moons that stuff is very much being brought to the surface, as often happens with the illumination of the moon. You've been really processing this stuff. I mean, this feels like, of all the readings this week, it feels like the reading that's about that profound, deep level of soul growth. What is gorgeous here, and we'll draw more tarot cards because I really need to really confirm this, but we have the Rune of Openings. This is finding clarity, finding clear direction. And at a level of soul, it's finding your way through something. It's the fog lifting. You know, fog sometimes, I think, stands for fear, obligation, guilt. So the stuff of your life that has left you tangled in things, you've been peeling back those layers and just when you thought, you know, there's nothing left to peel back, another layer showed itself. I feel that's what's been happening for you, with a lot of tears shed here. But this is telling us that there is now an opening coming. This is coming through that time, the universe opening doorways, the illumination coming. You know, in this card, she's trying to rise above it. She's looking down. She's got the overview. But here she's like, do you know what? I'm going to surrender. I'm looking up. The moon will show me the way. Surrender, sensitive sister. Be moved by the moon. The moon is supporting you in moving forwards rather than just illuminating the shadows, really. But a lot of shadows, I feel, in your world have been illuminated, and that has not been easy. Let's draw tarot cards, reading number 3. Okay, let's have a look and see what we have. Oh, this is lovely. 4 of Wands. So we are talking about, and it's like a new journey, a new chapter, a new phase. We have 4 of Wands. We have King of Cups. Yes. Let's move this along a little bit because we've got quite a few cards here to put out. We have the card of Temperance. We have the 10 of Wands here, and then we have the High Priestess. Oh well, High Priestess, 8 of Cups, and then the Queen of Wands here we place here for you. Fabulous. Okay, good. So this is absolutely a turning point. Now, we are entering eclipse season, so that's probably got something to do with that energy of openings coming for you. But a new chapter is emerging. There are new openings. Healing, decisions to be made. King of Cups, this is Orpheus. It's very interesting because Orpheus in the legend was able to, he could heal everybody else by the playing, I think it's a lute, but he just played the most beautiful music, and when people heard the music, they healed. But somehow he could never heal himself. But I feel this is something is actually coming into balance this week for you. Decisions, I think decisions are going to be made this week here. It's this turning point between rising above it and looking down at it and thinking about it. I think you've kept your head clear in this matter. You know, the peeling back of the layers. If you're dealing with the peeling back of the layers within family circumstances, you've kept your head above water here. You've held the higher ground. But actually, you know, buttons may have been pressed, but you've hung on in there, that woodpecker energy, you know, under the branch. You've looked, you've had to sort of go to ground, some of you even. But my goodness me, now we see the shift from looking down to looking up, to looking back, to looking forward. The opening coming, bringing things back into balance. Choosing no longer to be burdened. It's the fear, obligation, guilt. Choosing to not be burdened. We have the High Priestess here. These two cards together, you know, especially with the 10 of Wands sitting here between Temperance and the High Priestess. I mean, this is sort of saying that you can make choices. And I mean, the choices are not black and white, really. But I think there is a definite choice here to leave something behind. To choose to let go of something, to just to choose to walk away almost. I think for some of you there is literally a walking away from something that has been weighing heavy. It's been burdening you. Almost those scenarios as well where The layers are peeled back, but you just recognize you can't actually fix it. You know how sometimes there are people in our world, we can't fix them. They don't want to be fixed, and we can't fix them. They're set in their ways. You know, that they can't, maybe they can be healed, but they kind of don't want to. That investment isn't there, and maybe they can't be. Maybe there is something that actually, certainly that you can't fix. That's what I need to say to you. There's something here that you cannot fix, and I think there is a real recognition of this. I think you've tried, you've invested massively in trying to navigate this, to manage it, to fix it, to repair it. You've given it your best shot, you've given it your all. But I honestly just need to say, it's actually really clear. I think that is part of the message for you this week, is a real validation that you can't fix this, okay? You can't change it, you can't fix it. But you can choose what you do right here and right now. And you can actually choose to walk away and not invest in this anymore. It's something of a direction that becomes clear. You find the lioness within. And you just say, do you know what? I mean, this feels like feminine power. And, you know, this is non-gender specific here. This is not about, you know, whether you know, feminine power being a woman. Obviously it will be for many of you, but it won't be for all of you. It's that feminine power that's where the strength comes to choose to walk away. I listened to a really interesting astrological podcast a while ago about Eris, which is one of the new asteroids, and Eris is all about female power. She's the feminine warrior within us each, you know, non-gender specific. We all have that in our astrological chart. And the person giving the lecture, he actually said, you know, this is, he said, if you look at the masculine sort of warrior energy and the feminine warrior energy, he said the masculine warrior energy, you know, the masculine will fight because they can. You know, they'll fight because they're competitive. They'll also fight for honour, you know, because they need to defend. But there are many reasons why the masculine warrior energy, many avenues for it. But he said the feminine warrior energy will only fight because she has to, because she's cornered, because she has cubs to protect or something to protect. She would normally naturally walk away. But will fight if cornered. There's a very big difference, and it's that sense of choosing your battles and choosing to walk away. That's what's really coming through clearly, rather than being burdened, constantly going back again and again to try and fix something. Is definitely a flavour here. It's like choosing to be so much more than that. Whoops. And yeah, just choosing to sometimes even like that woodpecker, keeping a low profile, being on the beneath the branch. But I think you have a majorly good overview of the situation. You have a really good handle on it, and you know, fair play to you. You've risen above. Curiously enough, this card, from nothing to everything, actually, and this is a really interesting part of this message reading number 3. Because I think in choosing to walk away, to energetically leave something, it's like when we say no to something unhealthy, we're saying yes to life. Choosing a new chapter, a new way of being, no longer being tangled in the fog, the fear, obligation, guilt, saying, do you know what? Not doing this anymore. I do feel there's something about a shift and a leaving behind, and it's caused you a good many tears to be shed. But I think you have a really clear overview of where you're prepared to invest your energy and where you're not. And just, you know what can and can't be fixed. You know what's your responsibility. You know what isn't. And there's a sort of a clear decision being made here that actually I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not investing in that. I'm not going to invest in that person or that situation because I can't fix it, and I'm not going to buy into it either. And it hurts that it hasn't, and it's been distressing that it's even happened. But there is a real personal choice being made, you know, this week. And your spirit team are really validating that. What is super lovely is they're saying, And we're going to draw some more tarot cards here for you, actually, reading number 3. What your spirit team are actually saying right here and right now is this is actually going to open up. This decision is really, really going to open something up for you massively. Absolutely massively. You know, you're going to soar. You're going to be bigger, better, more than you ever thought you would be, because you're letting go of the energy that clings from this kind of stuff. Okay? Very interesting the way this reading has emerged, actually. Let's draw more cards here for you. Asking for reading number 3. I did say at the beginning that I felt for some there could be like a bereavement or something, but it is interesting because I feel fundamentally the peeling back of the layers has involved a lot of losses along the way. And there's something about facing something and choosing to move beyond it. And look at this, we have 7 of Swords. So really seeing it for what it is, making choices accordingly. And not, I want to say, not sharing your decisions, your opinions. I think you have an amazing viewpoint of exactly what's going on. But you also have a choice as to who you share that with, because if you share your perspectives with someone who's totally unavailable to hear you, then you're wasting your energy. So there's a really big shift taking place in this reading and this week for you in some way, shape or form. Here we have the 6. You're leaving something behind once and for all. The Tower, bringing that change. Knowing what your choices are based on the reality of things, that you have that overview, you know the way you see it, you know your truth, and you are making choices accordingly. 6 of Swords, yeah, and look at this, the new dawn sailing into a new sunset. 8 of Cups, the Hanged Man. Oh, this is lovely. This is super, super lovely. And then the 10 of Cups. This is beautiful, reading number 3. So what we're seeing is whatever this is about for you in the individualness of your own personal circumstances, your spirit team is saying to you, look, you are now ready to walk, to leave something behind, to make a very clear choice as to how you handle something, to let it go, to not continue to invest in something that no longer serves you. The change is coming, and you know, you get to rebuild with clarity. The new dawn, the new voyage. I mean, look at this new voyage coming in here. You see things clearly. We have the Hanged Man, and this is leading to your happiness, your emotional happiness, your contentment, harmony in relationships, choosing to no longer be restricted or held back. I do want to say, if any of you are moving house, or looking at moving from one area to another, or going on a voyage or a trip of some sort, and you've been uncertain about it, I think this would be the week you make that choice, that decision. If something's been holding you back, it's now time to make that choice and that decision. You'll clearly see the way forwards. It's definitely going to be shown to you, and making that trip, taking that step to the new chapter, the new beginning, the new place, it's definitely going to be it's going to be great. You know, you have the 10 of Cups. This is fab. This is wonderful. This is harmony, love, celebration, commitment. Commitment to you, commitment to your own pathway. It's like you shed, release, cleanse, let go of something, weeding and pruning from nothing to everything. You've been peeling back the layers. You finally choose to cut that final thing, let go of that final thing. And do you know what? It just opens up, because you're now able to be whole and complete. There's been enough crying done. There's been enough layers peeling back. It's definitely time to shift from looking you've been literally looking at this from every which way possible. Every which way possible. I just want to say, you gave it your best shot. You gave everything you had to a situation, whatever that is for you. You gave 1,000% and more. And you can't fix it, you can't change it, you can't reverse it, but you can choose to no longer dwell in it and to make a clear choice to be moving ahead. There's definitely a choice to let go of something, to find your own empowerment, something you can't fix, something that you couldn't fix it, you just couldn't, and it was not your fault. You gave it 1,000% and more. And it's time to close that door, really, and to move beyond and walk ahead, knowing that you can be truly proud of everything that you did, knowing that you gave it your absolute best. It's now time to move beyond that and to make a personal choice, to no longer invest in something that actually you can't change. And that is your message, really, for the here and now and from your spirit team. I will just draw a few more cards because I'd like to see whether your team will give you a sneaky peek, reading number 3, into kind of what's going to come from this. May we see a sneaky peek for reading number 3. What is going to emerge and come from this decision and this leaving of something behind? We have Knight of Angels Watcher. We have Page of Angels Mysticism. And look at the butterflies coming through here. We have the Wheel, Breakthrough. And we have the Shadow, Fear. The outcome of this, reading number 3 is that you've kind of been looking at this from every which way, and something that used to feel frightening, the shadows of something, it's like you're losing your fear of it. You're going, you can, it's like what this peeling back of the layers, what it's actually given you, it's really interesting. What it's given you at a layer of soul growth is it's kind of made you into someone who's not afraid of the shadows. In those peeling back of the layers, you're like, well, do you know what? I've looked at this, you know, I've looked at such depth. And the outcome of this is you become one of those people who isn't fazed by things, because, you know, whereas some people would be and are very afraid of their own shadow, it's like you overcome something. You don't carry a level of fear. It's almost as if we think of things in I'm going to voice it very simplistically, like darkness and light, but you're not afraid of the dark anymore. You kind of know, well, you know, when you deep dive and you move into a place of darkness, well, you've been there, you know what it is. You know, it's like there's nothing to fear there, because you know, whereas you might, it's like walking into a room and there's no lights, and you could be really, really fearful. But actually, if you walk into that room and your eyes become acclimatized and you begin to see it, even though it's shadowy, you see it and you know it, and it's not frightening anymore. And so every time you walk into that room, it's not a fearful room to walk into. You're not affected by something in the same way anymore, because you've understood that. You're not afraid of that depth of feeling or that depth of connection. You literally become, I kind of want to say you become a seer. Knight of Angels, the Watcher, mysticism. Literally, I think you become more connected. I said we had the crow to the other side, and I actually said I feel like some of you have literally been traveling through dimensions from one side to the other. For those of you for whom this does connect to loss and bereavement, and there's a ton of stuff going on in this reading. You know, for some people it's peeling back the layers of family stuff. For others, you know, there's actually a genuine physical loss of someone. But the overall general messages coming through are to do with you literally flying in and out of the shadows, crossing between dimensions. Even some of you may have had situations that have taken you, almost regressed you into past lives as well. But the way is becoming clear. You can now rise and not be afraid of the heights. You know, you can not be afraid of the heights and not be afraid of the shadows. We have the breakthrough here, the wheel. And I do feel, yeah, for some of you, your psychic abilities, your clairvoyance, clairaudience abilities, all of these senses are going to be sharpened, heightened. You'll be more aware and more attuned of them. With them, actually. I just feel that this whole experience has, like that woodpecker underneath the branch, you're as comfortable under the branch as you are on top of it, and pecking away you can get, you know, you can get under the skin of things, you can see things for what they are. This whole journey has been massively challenging, but it's ultimately bringing you out into being somebody who is more than anything you could ever have believed you would be, in terms of your own personal inner strength and how that can then be manifested into the world. So this is a very big turning point, really, this level of stuff that you're working at, reading number 3. Your team are honouring you. Your spirit team are honouring you. They are saying to you, this is the point, there's a point around you, this is the here and now message of making quite a personal choice here. Not to try and fix something you can't fix, but therefore to begin to look ahead and move out of the shadows and sort of firmly plant yourself back into this dimension. But as a whole person who knows what that experience is like, and is now making conscious choices from a position of, and it's that emotional depth of female empowerment, which, as I said, it's the feminine. We have it all within us, all of us. This is an extraordinary reading number 3. You know, big respect to you. This is, you know, just mind-blowingly deep at a level of soul, really. This is soul growth at its most purposeful. And so really, really honouring you. Your team are honouring you. The outcome of this is the breakthrough, the transformation. And you come through this with skills within you that you would not have dreamed you would ever have. And it's come because of these experiences and the peeling back of those layers. Super Souls, I am sending you the biggest hug ever, along with a most monumental level of respect, because this is real soul growth work, and that's not easy. That stuff, it just isn't easy, that peeling back of the layers, but wow, it's time to rise to the heights. Super Souls, I am impressed monumentally, and thank you for being you and the contribution that you're going to be making to the global collective of humanity, because this is the real soul growth stuff that benefits everybody ultimately. So yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you. And yeah, if you'd like to get notification of any of my readings, if you subscribe and hit the little bell icon, they should come into your stream. I have no idea how the YouTube algorithms work or don't work. People have been telling me that they don't get stuff in their stream. The best thing to do, because I post lots of spontaneous readings as well as these readings every Sunday, and you know, the moon month the moon month sort of monthly forecast with lots of stuff to do with manifesting with the moon and webinars and all kinds of stuff. If you want to get notification and it's not coming through, when you go onto YouTube, if you just search Moon Magic, the Moon Magic Tarot channel, you should be able to find the page really easily, access the playlist of timeless readings, just look at all the videos. You can access all the videos that I upload, and you should be able to find everything you need really, really easily. Super Souls, you are just awesome. You really, really are. You guys are amazing. tons and tons of love. I will put every possible link to anything that might be of help or value to you in the information box and the comments. So scroll down if you want to find anything. There will be a link to the Timeless Readings playlist in there as well. Also, I give away a free private reading, and in the run-up to Christmas, a diary and a journal. There'll be oracle cards too. If you want to be in my subscriber on my subscriber prize draw list, it's an email list. If you scroll down, you'll be able to find the link. Anyway, I will put everything in the comments as well for phone users, so you should be able to access everything there. Super souls, yeah, what can I say? What can I say? But this is a turning point. It's an opening and a breakthrough. Tons of love.